Welcome. Good evening. We've all been following the news of this terrible storm that's approaching, Hurricane Irma. We do expect in the city of Charleston significant impact from this storm. As you all know, the governor has declared a state of emergency in the state of South Carolina. Just this afternoon, our city council met and has likewise declared a state of emergency for the city of Charleston. Our number one priority is the safety of our citizens and our citizens' property as well. And we beseech our citizens to be ready, to be prepared, to be safe. And your city government is working hard to be ready ourselves. And I'd like to just go over a few of the things that we've been working on to get ready. Our Emergency Operations Center, which is here at the Gill Yard, is up and running. We're at OPCON 3. We're in incident command mode at this point. Our first responders are preparing and stand ready to assist and protect our citizens and their property. And some of the things we've been doing is securing our city properties. We've had sandbag allocations today. Now this is remarkable. Prior hurricanes, the maximum we've ever given out for an entire event has been 15,000 sandbags. Today alone, we gave out nearly 20,000 sandbags to our citizens. We reached out to our population of homeless and those who are most vulnerable in our city to advise them of what's going on and to make sure that they're ready for what's coming. We're getting situated already for the recovery next week of what the city will be doing to clean up and recover after we see the storm come through South Carolina. We plan for personnel to be stationed in all parts of our city. Johns Island, James Island, the Cainhoy Peninsula, West Ashley, and the Peninsula to make sure that we're on the spot ready for recovery and protection of our citizens and our property. We're working already with partners like Charleston County, the Salvation Army, and the Red Cross, who will be helping provide shelters and other services prior to and immediately after the storm coming through. So I want to share how proud I am as mayor of Charleston of the incredible team Charleston that we have in their preparations, their professionalism, and their willingness to serve and protect our citizens. It's really a remarkable team. They've been working hard all week on our plans and preparations, and it includes folks like Chief Taylor of our police department and Deputy Chief Broughton, Chief Tippett in our fire department, and I'd like next to turn over the podium for a minute to our emergency operations manager, who's really the day-to-day guy on the ground managing all the team for these preparations, and that's Mark Wilbert with Emergency Preparations. Mark?
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, everyone. I'd just like to add a couple of notes to what Mayor Tecklenburg has already said, and one is we cannot overemphasize how dangerous this storm could be and likely will be for the city of Charleston. It is a dangerous storm. It is much more dangerous than Hurricane Matthew, so comparing this to Hurricane Matthew is a bad comparison, okay? And we really want to get that information out to our citizens. We are encouraging the citizens of Charleston, the residents of Charleston, to prepare now for an evacuation. Do not delay. Although the governor's order has not yet occurred, we are encouraging you to already know where you're going to go. You need to have a plan, and you need to know your zone, and you need to know when the order is given, if it's given by the governor, and when it's given by the governor, that you know how to get out of the city of Charleston. Pack your emergency kit now. I can't overemphasize that again. You've seen pictures of what the roadways look like. Have an emergency kit with you, and it's not just for your house. Have your emergency kit with you and take it in the car with you in case you get stuck on the road. Make sure there's food, water, clothes, medicine, pillows, things like eyeglasses, things that you would need for at least 3 days. Shelter locations throughout the county of Charleston will be announced by the county of Charleston when and if an evacuation order is issued. And at that time, if you need transportation to shelters, if you are transit dependent, please look into the Charleston County Hurricane Guide. They have the pickup points listed in there, and you can find them on our city website under the hurricane information as well. I'm going to give you a citizens information line for the city of Charleston, and that line is 843-973-7219. That will be manned during the day tomorrow, and then starting Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, we will go to 24-hour operations, and at that time, it will be manned for 24 hours until this storm passes. And that's for information that you would need from the city of Charleston. And with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor for any questions.
So I failed to recognize Captain Chip Searson here, who will also be serving as one of our incident commanders. Mark mentioned the evacuation order we expect to go into effect Saturday morning at 10 a.m. The governor has already said that there will be a lane reversal of I-26, but I don't think I can say more eloquently than the governor said this afternoon. If you can leave now, go ahead. It's okay. You don't have to wait until Saturday morning at 10 to leave town. It's a great opportunity for a long weekend to be away from the coast. Storm surge is a real issue. If you live on the barrier islands or in a property that has a history of flooding, it's a good time to be out of town for this long weekend coming up. So with that, if there are any questions, we'll be glad to answer them if we can.
Is the city doing anything to prepare the roads or the drainage systems or clean out the drains in preparation of a lot of rain coming through?
We are. Our stormwater crews have been out today and will be until the storm comes to make any last minute clean outs that we can do. We haven't done this in the past. We have rented portable pumping systems so that if there is some areas of flooding, that we'll be able to respond more quickly than we have in the past by putting spot pumping systems in place.
And also, last year, I believe the parking garages were opened up to allow for parking on higher ground. Will that happen again?
That will happen again. In fact, at the close of business tomorrow, on Friday, 5 o'clock tomorrow, our parking garages will be open to the public if they would like to use them to store a car before they leave town.
Do you have anything to say to those who may not have the resources to leave town right now or leave at all?
Well, the systems will be in place, as Mark described, for free public transportation to shelters, which will also be at no charge. So for those folks, and we've been reaching out to our more vulnerable and homeless population in the city to make them aware that there will be resources for them to get out of harm's way.
And also, this may be a question for Chief Taylor. Something on people's minds may be after the fact when it comes to looting. What will your officers be kind of on high alert for that?
Yes, effective Saturday, we'll be going on 12-hour shifts, and we'll be adequately prepared to protect property and also assist individuals, leaving the city of Charleston also and returning to the city of Charleston.
And so when people do return, are they going to be required to show proof of residency? They addressed that at the county conference, that sometimes going into different parts of town, you have to give proof of residency.
Let Mark.
So that's absolutely correct. In the county hurricane plan and in our hurricane plan, that is a provision if the damage is significant and for whatever reason we want to keep just anybody out of an area, we will go to a situation where we'll require proof of residency to get back in. But we have to let the storm come, and we have to see what happens before we can say for sure whether that will or won't be in place.
I just wanted to make sure people had that in
Mhm.
left?
That's a good question.
Mr. Mayor or Mark,
Yeah.
obviously South Carolina's experience when it comes to hurricanes, every hurricane is different. What's different in this one? What's different about what you're seeing, how you're preparing?
So what's different about this one is just the incredible strength of this storm and the fact that there really are like 4 scenarios laid out on the possibility of this storm, which makes it incredibly difficult to prepare for one of those 4 scenarios. So it could go, if it goes further east than comes into Charleston, that could be really bad. If it goes a little further west and comes into Charleston, it might not be as strong as a storm. So we're trying to prepare for 4 scenarios of a very, very, very strong storm, which makes this very difficult to prepare for compared to, say, a storm that may be a smaller tropical storm or Category 1, or one that was coming directly at us from the sea.
And I guess it's worth asking that the latest track has it going a little bit westward. Now I understand that it could track back towards us, but you know how does that go into your preparations and your advice to the community?
It doesn't change anything. We came out here today and said prepare for heavy winds and storm inundation impacting the city of Charleston, and we're not going to deviate from that unless that storm takes off on a crazy track in a direction that we're not hearing it will likely take. So we don't want citizens to become complacent, because as easily as it goes left, it can go right. So we're preparing for what we saw yesterday, what we saw this morning. Let's hope it gets better every day. There's none of us here that'd be happier unless it turned a hard right and went out to sea.
There are Navy vessels right now in the Atlantic. They're helping the folks in the Caribbean. They're ready to help the folks in Florida. Have you guys been in direct or indirect contact with anyone in the Navy? Or I guess what I'm asking is, are those ships ready to help South Carolina in the event of sort of a worst case scenario?
Well, I happen to know how that works, just coming out of the Coast Guard after 35 years. So what we'll do, the way that works is you'll wait till the storm passes and you'll see what the damage is, and then those types of requests go up through the State Operations Center to the FEMA Joint Operations Center, and then they're proctored out depending on the extent of damage. It would be premature for us right now to issue some kind of request like that.
Well, thank you all again for coming, and we'll probably be doing this every day for the next few days to give everyone and our citizens an update. So thank you very much for helping us get the word out for our citizens.
Do you have an idea of a time for when you might post your daily press conferences? Would you wait for the governor's press conference, or do you have like a time frame?
Generally, we would wait until after the governor goes first, in case he has some pressing news for us. All right, thank you all very much.